So today we're going to create a foldable that's going to help us understand slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. You've received a yellow piece of paper. I want you to fold it in half, leaving the y equals mx plus b on the outside. The next thing I want you to do is when you open it back up, just run your glue stick right down the center on the fold, all right? Like so. And that's going to glue the two pieces together. Okay. Just running my hand over the glue so it'll stick. The next thing I want you to do, making sure you don't cut the back part, I want you to just come on and cut on the dotted line up to your title. All right? And I want you to do this all the way on all the dotted lines. We're going to discuss each section, the Y, the M, the X, and the B. The only two we're not discussing is our equal sign and our plus sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue those down. So taking some glue, just rubbing it on this flap and gluing your equal sign down. Do the same thing to your plus, taking the glue and gluing down that plus sign. We're not going to discuss those. We know what equals is, makes the equation, and the plus is just addition. All right, so now let's start with y. We discussed with linear equations when we were working on our last foldable, we discussed that the y is the value of y in the equation, which is also our output and our dependent value. So on the flap, I want you to write y is the value of y in the equation. Okay, y is the value of y in the equation. He is our output and the dependent value. Y depends on x. All right, we've talked before about m. M is our slope. So you're going to write m in the inside flap is the slope. And we've learned already how to graph slope on a line. So slope is the vertical change divided by the horizontal change. Our vertical change is our y, and our horizontal change is the x. So change in y divided by the change in x. Just like we discussed before, it's the rise over the run. Okay? All right, let's move on to our x. If you'd like, you can draw a line between the two just so that you don't confuse them. Okay. X, just like y, x is the value of x in the equation. Okay. And with y, we had the output, so x is our input, and x is the independent value. X does not need y, but y needs x. Our last but not least is the b. B is our y-intercept. This is where the line is going to cross through the y-axis. And we'll do some examples on page 35 of our IMN so you can see that. So B is the y-intercept. Okay? This is the value of y when the line crosses through the y-axis. Okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to glue this in onto page 34. And I'll show you how that's going to look. And then we're going to go on to page 35 and do some examples so you can understand about how you can find your m and your b and create a linear equation using slope-intercept form. So go ahead and take this and you're going to glue it just like this down on page 34.